Hi guys, Trevor Swenson with Through the Darkness, my personal journey and battle with PTSD in hopes of encouraging and giving hope to a community where hope and encouragement is at times, if not a lot of times, missing and lacking. As you know, if you've been following, I've been covering the big three for me, the three things that I struggle with the most in my battle with PTSD, and that is anxiety, depression, and the one we haven't covered yet is anger and irritability. And for me, the anger aspect has earned its position as a trunk of the big three. I have had to really dive deep in my walk to learn how to manage my anger and understand my anger. And today I just wanted to talk about anger and how it manifests itself and some of the things that have helped me, and talk about the roots of the anger and some of the steps that I've taken to manage it in a more healthy manner. And I want to focus on 3 points that have helped me, and one of them, the first one is work it out, the second one is accept it, and the third one is to talk about it. And I want to preface this entire conversation because you know that I have found in my walk with PTSD one of the most healing things that has been made very, very clear to me has been my methodical walk through the Bible to see what the Bible has to say about what it is that you and I are walking through and what it is our families are experiencing. And on the topic of anger, the one verse I want you to hold on to, and the one thing that keeps going through my head continually, and it really does go through my head continually, is in your anger, do not sin. In your anger, do not sin. It doesn't say if you are angry. It doesn't say you won't be angry. It implies that you will be angry. There are things that are going to make you angry. And for me, there is a lot of anger in my journey with PTSD and a lot of irritability, so much so that a chunk of my therapy and a portion of my medication is focused just on managing anger that has come with PTSD. And I always try to remind myself that in my anger, do not sin. It's okay to feel the anger. There are so many places that the anger can come from, and I want to talk about that very quickly. The anger for you may have been the situation that you were involved in that ended up having you develop PTSD. The anger may be with struggling with the fact that you do have PTSD, and it's a years-long battle and process to get through. It may be anger in the frustration of the ruminating cycle of thoughts that you have a hard time getting out of your head. It may be angry at a set of events. It may be angry at people. It may be anger at the unrelenting daily suffering and pain that you are going through. It may be anger over how you were treated. Whatever it is, it's anger, and it's righteous anger. It's anger that you can tie back to something that anybody, any human being would be angry about. And that is what I battle, is anger. Anger that keeps me up at night, anger that makes me at times somebody you don't want to be around, because I'm no fun to be around when I'm feeling very angry about my PTSD and how it affects my daily life. But I focus on the second half of that verse, which is do not sin. And there are a lot of things that can happen that would be very sinful. That would be taking your anger and essentially multiplying its effect for the negative on or towards other people specifically. And knowing that people are the number one thing that I can hurt in my anger, to deal with my anger, I focus on inanimate things that don't have feelings, things that are not going to carry the emotional burden for years to come, things that are not going to dwell on what I have to say. And some of the things I use for coping, I have a lot of conversations with myself in the bathroom facing a mirror, and I let it all out. I just let it out. I let it out. And I let it out with whatever language I want to use. I let it out in ways that are very expressive. I let it out completely unfiltered. It's one of the ways. The other way that has helped me deal with it is hard physical labor. Hard physical labor, like splitting wood, like working out. And when I say working out, I mean taking out your anger on a pull-up bar or push-ups or an intense bike ride or a run or something that is going to make you exert physically some of that effort in a righteous manner. Another thing that has helped me, you'll see I've got earplugs. Since developing PTSD, I find myself wearing earplugs in very weird situations. Like the other day, I just was frustrated, irritable, and anger for no particular reason, and putting in earplugs and squashing out all of the stimulus that I was hearing, noise that I was hearing, really helped to calm my spirit. As you know, when I swim, when I'm on a tractor, when I'm on anything with a motor or an engine, whether it be a four-wheeler or a snowmobile, I always wear earplugs, and it's very therapeutic to me because it takes very stimulating, very abrasive noise and it makes it a softer, constant white noise. And for whatever reason, it works for me. Early on in my PTSD journey, I was at church with my family and I was extremely angry. In fact, so angry that I would say that anger actually defined me as the person at the time. And it was told very clear to me, not in an audible voice, but I really felt the presence of God strongly. And I mean strongly and clearly as I've heard it, say, Trevor, my son, lay down your sword. And I happened to be sitting in a church to where on my right side I was on the aisle seat, and there was a long aisle going up to the stage of the church. And I could just picture myself taking my sword out, which represented anger, which represented words, which represented actions, which represented action in my anger. And I pictured myself laying my sword down and literally taking that as this is how God is asking me to fight this battle. It is not with my sword. I truly believe that the battle is gods in my walk with PTSD. And I really am hoping that maybe through these videos and this series that you realize more and more that the battle is ultimately not yours. The battle is God's. He is for you. He loves you. He knows your trauma. He saw your trauma. He created you. He knew you before you ever were. And I hope that you yearn to listen to what He wants to show you and what He is asking of you through your PTSD journey. I know that that has become very clear to me, that my purpose is much greater than PTSD. My purpose is in people, and my anger and my irritability that comes from PTSD will do nothing but horse that up quickly. And I really want to challenge you to accept the fact that you are going to be angry, accept the fact that it's completely normal, accept the fact that you're going to have to actively work it out, and to ask yourself, who, when I'm angry, is in my line of fire? Who might I injure? Who might I hurt deeply in my anger? And to make sure that you are taking an aggressive stance in not allowing your anger in your situation to pass on the trauma to other people. As you know, I have kids, and it is a battle at times because kids can be very, very frustrating. And I need to be very, very careful when I'm feeling irritable and angry about the situation that I am walking through and have been walking through, that my kids are not in the line of fire. And there are two things that you can do. You can either change your line of fire physically, or you can shut down the anger. But you need to do one of the two, because your 9-year-old daughter is not deserving of the anger that has developed from your PTSD. Your spouse is not deserving of that anger that has developed in your PTSD or in your trauma. So I just challenge you to ask the question, who is in your line of fire? Because anger is very, very real to me in my walk with PTSD. Think about talking about your anger. I know that my wife has been an unbelievable blessing, as have been the mentors that have quietly crept into my life through this walk with PTSD, in talking about my anger and why I'm angry. And guess what word is most encouraging and powerful to me in fighting anger? Validation. Validation. Sitting across from somebody that says, I would be just as angry, if not more angry than you are. I am impressed with how you are handling all of your anger. I had the same thing happen to me, and this is how I handled my anger in this situation. Talk about it. Pent-up anger does not go away. It needs to be processed. It needs to be processed through grieving. It needs to be processed through verbal interaction, physical interaction. It needs to be processed, and it's very, very real. Vengeance is the Lord's. A lot of people walking through PTSD, like myself, have a sense of vengeance and a sense of vindication that they want to walk out and that they want to work out. And it very clearly says in the Bible again, the Lord will vindicate me. Vengeance is the Lord's. Do not sin in your anger. And to me, those three things I take as true, and I take as wise and truly wise. And so I just ask you to implement things like good music, earplugs, hard physical labor, vigorous exercise, which is good for you, and communication and therapy. Get help with your anger. I needed help with my anger, and I got it through great therapy. I got it through a great psychiatrist. I got it through great care. And I just ask you to please reach out for help in your walk with PTSD. This is Trevor Swenson. I just wanted to talk a little bit about anger today. I hope that you click and subscribe. I hope you forward this on to somebody who might be struggling with PTSD or unresolved trauma. What we are walking through is incredibly real. You deserve to heal. You deserve the best journey possible through PTSD, as unfortunate as it is. And I pray and I hope that you be well and that you come to the end of the road knowing that you were an overcomer and a warrior through all of this. Click subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. Forward this on to somebody that you think might need it. I can't wait to see you next time.